Three questions to ask whenever the stock markets drop. 1. Has the stock market ever dropped X percentage before? Yes, countless times. 2. Did it eventually come back? Yes, every single time without exception. And 3, did the markets then subsequently go on to new highs? And the answer has always been yes, every single time without exception. Note, this does not apply to some individual security or some concentrated speculative bet. I'm talking about a very diversified stock portfolio, for example, the S&P 500, or all the more so if you're diversified among different stock markets, large cap, mid cap, small cap, growth style, value stock, international, etc. Maybe you're concerned that we're on the verge of an economic crisis or recession or a bear market, and you're thinking, I'm already down X percent, I better get out before it gets worse. I want you to know that I totally understand and I deeply empathize with your feelings. But what you want to do is almost certainly wrong and likely to do irreparable harm to your financial plan. You're feeling a very human impulse to get out, but in the absence of a re-entry strategy, you'll just have to wait for a second impulse to get back in. But two impulses don't make a strategy, and the odds of those two impulses in sequence getting you a higher rate of return than the markets is prohibitive to the point of impossibility. But we've already lost X percent of our capital. With respect, I deny that, absolutely and in every particular. You experienced a temporary decline of X percent from a previous market peak. There's been no permanent impairment of your capital, which can only happen if and when you sell. It's exactly in episodes like this that we earn the full permanent returns of equities, the only way they can be earned, by steadfast willingness to accept the temporary declines. The ability to see the returns as permanent and the declines as temporary is the beginning of real investment wisdom. Maybe you're hearing in the financial media or from some guru that there's a high probability of a recession or a bear market. Someone's always predicting that, and this time I suppose they may be right. No one is consistently right about such things, but even a broken clock gets to be right twice a day. Some media outlet or financial guru saying there's going to be a correction this year is like saying that in March, April there's going to be a heavy rainfall. It's a prophecy that's both self-fulfilling and utterly meaningless. Since 1980, there's been an average peak-to-trough correction in the S&P 500 of about 14% annually. But the S&P 500 came into 1980 at 106. Look where it is today. As regards the concern of a bear market, since the end of World War II, there's been one on the average every 5 or 6 years. But on VJ Day, the S&P 500 index is at about 15. Look where it is now. You couldn't have timed the bear markets in the interim, and it turns out you didn't need to. As far as recessions go, since the end of World War II, the U.S. economy has been in expansion about 85% of the time. It's only been in sporadic recession the other 15%. But again, the S&P 500 has gone from about 15 to where it is now. In the context of a lifetime and even multi-generational investor like you, recessions have historically been blips. Worse, they've been blips you couldn't time. Still worse, the equity market wasn't even in correlation with the blips. It didn't go up and down in tandem with the recession. Since 1993, we've worked with hundreds of families to manage their investments and work toward their financial goals. And in my experience, the ones who get hurt are the ones who give in to the fear, abandon their long-term investment philosophy, and sell when the markets are down. If I may suggest, tune out the news, close out of your accounts on your laptop, take a deep breath, and keep your eye on the horizon. We'll get through this together.